Eagles have extended the contract there for the coach, and that has been out for 26 and 27. We're happy to say that we've got Anthony on the line. G'day, Seibs.
Morning, Jimmy. Morning, Michael.
Congratulations, mate, on the extension. What excites you about what's to come for the Manlys Eagles?
Look, obviously, we made some really good strides over the last two seasons, gents, and I think, a lot of the guys are in that sort of 23, 24, 25 years of age and, played sort of that 50 to 100 games, and I'm talking about guys like Tolu Kola and, Jason Sarvis and Bully Moore, Tommy Talau, those types of players. So, I think that they're in, that period where they can build real consistency and reliability in their game. And obviously we've got some really elite players like Ches and Turbo and Jake and amongst others. And Homole Olakwatu's probably really developed into one of the really elite back rowers. So I feel like we've got some talent there, mate. We've got a good group of men. And I'm really enjoying coaching them. That's why I wanted to extend.
I really enjoyed the way you guys played your footy this year, Seibs, the attack and trying to use the pace of that side. How do you fine-tune that heading into 2025 now?
Yeah, look, I think it's clearly to see we've got some weapons there as far as, speed's concerned. So, we don't want to be, a conservative type team. We want to make sure that we use our weapons, and I really encourage, the coaches and the players to do that. So, we want to continue to grow that. Obviously, there'll be some cohesion there. I think, for some guys like Ruben Garrick, it's his first year playing at NRL level as a centre, albeit he's already played 100 games on the wing prior to that. But, I feel like there's some guys there who'll be better for, the opportunity over the last sort of period of time. You add Lehigh Hopewadi to that, and we've got some real speed there and some real, weapons to throw the ball to. So we want to continue to drive that. But, the big thing for us, Mick and Jimmy, is, that reliability and consistency. I think, we won 13 games, drew one or something like that last year. So we made some good strides forward. But I feel like we've got a little bit more in us, and that's the opportunity that we've got going forward.
That way that you want to play, is that following a trend? Is that setting a trend? Is that doing it because that's who's in your squad? Have you recruited that deliberately, Seibs?
Well, I felt like the back end of 2023, when we couldn't make the finals for the last month, we finished essentially 1.5 games outside the final. So there was a time there over the last sort of month of 23 where we experimented. We just thought, rather than be conservative, let's try and use our weapons. Let's try and develop a way that we want to try and play in 2024. So we made some changes to some personnel there and the way that we wanted to play. So we experimented with it there, Jimmy, and I think, it's no secret we like to attack from our end of the field. And, we like to, I suppose, we like to really use our weapons from an attacking point of view. We've made some strides forward with our defence, but we certainly need to improve that. I wasn't happy how we finished the year defensively because for the bulk of the year we were sort of in the top 5 or 6 teams defensively, but we sort of fell away in the last, the last little period there, I felt. So, we haven't tried to follow anyone, mate. We try to develop our own weapon, develop our own game style and retain and recruit guys who can add to that. And, I think if we try to sort of copy someone else, then we'd just be, a sort of a poor version of another team. So we're trying to do it our way, and we've found some joy with it so far.
Stepping back from that and the extension to think about your coaching career overall, Seibs, and we know the challenges that you faced when you're at the Brisbane Broncos, and then out of that, and what you did, and was there always that desire to get back into coaching? Was it always that coaching was the thing? It's just a matter of how do you get back to that?
It's an interesting one, Jimmy. I think one of the things that looking back, that really helped me was actually taking a step back. In 2021, I did a little bit of mentoring with some of the coaches at Newcastle Knights, sort of 1 or 2 days a week, giving them some advice, some feedback, helping them with their own craft. I really enjoyed that, but it wasn't full on. Like, you weren't there every single day. And it allowed me to do some other stuff, So I did some stuff in the media. I did some stuff with, Kestrel Coal, which is a big coal mining company, sort of doing some leadership, development with some people there. So I sort of stepped outside the game. And then obviously I went and worked with Eddie, So I think those things really helped me for the 12 months. Then I really dove back into it full time with Eddie Jones at England Rugby. And that probably then whet the appetite to, if there was an opportunity to come back in the future to the NRL, I wanted to do that. But I think, I thank Eddie, who's copped a little bit of grief over the last 12 months with, with his time with the Wallabies, but he's very good with me and the England rugby team were outstanding to work with, and that probably, that probably helps. So those sort of 2 years sort of outside the game really sort of helped me develop as a person, mate, and but also gave me a bit more perspective on things. Working with you guys at SEN, I was doing a little bit with Channel 9 and Stan Sport, and doing some stuff with people who don't play sport, like with a big coal mining company. Then that sort of really helped me develop, I felt.
You're about to enter your third season as the Manly coach. What have you changed in this pre-season before Christmas, getting you guys ready for next year?
Well, we want to continue. We feel as though there's a lot of things that we've done well, particularly over the last sort of 12 months. And so we want to continue to do that, Mick. But one of the things that we can be a little bit better with is handle the game. Rugby league, like all team sports, it's chaotic, right? So there's momentum swings in games. There's refereeing decisions. There's injuries occur. Chaos occurs. So I feel as though it's one little area that we can grow. We're doing little bits and pieces on a Friday, just where all the players get is, a start time and a finish time, and they don't know what's coming, because we are very well planned, and we're, very, I've got a little bit of OCD, I've got to say, guys. So we're very well planned, and so, just trying to, give the players a start time. Let's just say at 6:30 a.m. in the morning, and you're going to be finished at 2:30 in the afternoon. They don't know what's coming. Just so, how do you handle, what's thrown at you? That's an area for growth for us. So that's something different that we haven't done in the past. Look, we're doing that on every second Friday at the moment. So that's probably one slight change, Mick. But we've got some real continuity in our staff in the performance side of things, and we've added a couple of people as well. So some real continuity, but also we just need to try and see if we can train for the game with that sort of chaos.
I don't want you to give away what you're doing this Friday, but what are some of those elements of that Friday session that have caught the players by surprise?
Just like, as I said, we're quite structured. So generally speaking, you start the day with doing some prep, with the physios and with the performance staff, and then you'll have a team meeting, and then you're on the field for an hour and a half, 2 hours, and then you go from there to recovery, and then you'll go from recovery to team review or training review. Then you'll go from training review to gym, then you go from gym to wrestle. Well, that's a typical day, any sort of NRL club, including ours. Generally speaking, so they just get a time where they have to be. And, as an example, you might be doing a field session to start the day, which is quite usual, but then they think they're doing a recovery and you're actually going to the beach and doing a wrestle session. They'll see all the jerseys set out there, the footies on the sand, they think they're doing gym, they go to the gym. No, we're not. We're doing a hot and cold contrast, 30 minutes where you're in and out of the sauna and the ice baths, which is quite unusual before you do gym. Just some things that throw them off course. And I can't give away what we're doing this week, but we're doing something different this week.
Yeah.
Just things like that, mate, because as I said, things get thrown at you in a game. Might be an intercept try against you guys. Could be anything like that, right? So the game's not structured as such. It can be chaotic, and there's big momentum swings, and you got to try and handle what's sort of thrown at you. So often you do this on like a 2 or 3 or 4 day camp, the army style camp. But what we're trying to do is make it part of our program every second week. And look, it's just one way that we're doing a whole heap of things. The same as probably every single other club, but we're also trying to what works for our group and what's our group needs, so to speak.
If they want chaos, Seibs, you should get them in here for breakfast radio at SEN. That'll be the one that'll turn them upside down.
Mate. I'll tell them to turn up at 4:30 or something like that.
Hey, I've been watching The Manly Way. I've been encouraged by a number of listeners who are Seagulls fans, and I've really enjoyed it. But the very fact that you've opened yourself up, the clubs open themselves up like that, how much of a convincing did you require for that? What sort of creative control do you have over that, Seibs?
Well, this is the second year that the club's done that. Yeah. One of the things that I felt like, I got the idea from England Rugby, I've got to say. So it wasn't an original idea. One of the things England Rugby did really well was connect with their supporters, and they would get over 80,000 people at every game at Twickenham. Yep. And during the test week, they would give some inner sanctum stuff without sort of giving too much away. So people get a bit of a snapshot of what the boys go through with the Manly Way. But there's really no IP being given out. They see a snapshot. But one thing that I want the people who support Manly to do is know that there's a good group of young men who work really hard, and there's a common cause there, which every club in the NRL, in team sports, you guys know that. So But what we've tried to do, and I feel like, our membership's never been higher, our crowds have never been better. We've had 8 sellouts. I feel like if the members and supporters of the Seagulls get to know their players a little bit better, they feel a little bit more connected because, the reality of it is we don't work, in the community anymore like they did in the 70s and the 80s, so they only sort of see the guys on telly. They don't really know the real person. So it's a little bit of a opportunity for people to get to know some of the players a little bit more. But also just give a real small snapshot of, players work really hard at every single club in the 17. 17 clubs will be working really, really hard, and they'll be really diligent with their prep. And it's just a way for I think it's every second week or something like that. 15, 20 minutes, just a little snapshot over the last 2 weeks. And as I said, it's not unusual. I think a few other clubs certainly they did it last year. I think and it's probably a couple who are doing it now. But it's just a way for us to connect to our members, our supporters, and give them a bit of a connection to the group on a bit more of a personal level.
Siebes, congratulations on the extension. We're all cheering for you here at SEN. Appreciate your time this morning and all the very best for season 2025.
Good on you guys, and thanks to all the listeners, and all the best for Chrissy New Year period to everyone. Cheers, guys.
Thanks for watching. For more great content, subscribe to SEN League, your home of the greatest game of all.